You ain't bout it, you ain't bout it, you ain't kick on the mic. You ain't bout it, you ain't bout it, you ain't kick on the mic. You can go and subscribe, cause I be on it right. You ain't bout it, you ain't bout it, you ain't kick on the mic.
Hey, what's going on, Bears fans? We are back and ready for the final week of the NFL season, week 18, and it's Packers week. And once again, I am joined by my co-host, Isaiah Fry. How you doing, Isaiah?
Good. How you doing?
Feeling a little nervous. It's Packers week. We talked about this before. It always makes me just a tad bit nervous when the Packers week rolls around.
Oh, yeah. This is a must-win game, too. I know it has no playoff bearings and whatnot, but it's a must-win game. We need to see it happen.
Yeah, the Chicago Bears were actually eliminated last week because of the Green Bay Packers win over the Minnesota Vikings. So at this point, I think the Bears just need to return the favor and knock the Green Bay Packers out of the playoffs. But before we go any further with today's episode of Geek on the Mic, give me your initial reaction to the huge win over the Atlanta Falcons on Sunday.
Great win. It was a great win for the Bears, man. Atlanta's a solid team. They're not the top, not the bottom, but they're a solid team. And it was a good measurement to see where the Bears actually are. And they came out and they dominated the game from the beginning to the end. So for them to come out with a win and see the way Justin Fields operated the game, man, it was great to see.
You told me last week that these last two games were huge for quarterback Justin Fields, and basically he needed two statement games. Was this a good start for him?
Yeah, most definitely. I mean, you watch the game, some of the throws he made were elite, right? I mean, even if some of them didn't get caught, the throws he was threading the needle, man, just making his reads, going through his progression. It was great to see.
And you talk about like the conditions that the Bears were in as well, right? Being in Chicago, it was snowing, a little bit of wind as well, and
Right.
He was throwing absolute dots all around the field.
Yeah, he was. The one down the middle to Scott, man, was, had he caught that would have been a highlight play. But it would have been a tough catch. But it was such a great throw down the middle in the too high safety, man. I loved what I see there.
Definitely some special moments from Justin Fields and obviously the Chicago Bears defense. Give me your opinion on the Bears defense in the win over the Atlanta Falcons.
It's the same, man. They've been solid for the last 10 weeks of the season, man. So, to see them go out there and make plays like they've been doing all year, it wasn't surprising to me. They're at this point, they're in the top 10 of the defenses in the league right now. If you're taking away those beginning games of the season, so for them to go to perform the way they did, it wasn't surprising to me.
Absolutely. And like we said, there's no playoff implications for the Chicago Bears. They have officially been eliminated from the postseason, which is okay. We already talked about that there was a slim chance for them to make the playoffs. We do know in the back of our mind that this could have definitely been a playoff team. If things would have went their way, they didn't blow fourth quarter leads, all that good stuff. But they are playing for something. One, they're playing for momentum going into next season. We talked a lot about that right here on the podcast, but they're also playing to knock their division rival out of the playoffs. How special would this moment be for Justin Fields and the Chicago Bears to knock the Green Bay Packers out of the playoffs?
Oh, it's cliche what I'm about to say, but this is their Super Bowl. This is the last game. They've been playing really well these last couple of weeks. If they can come in there, Lambeau Field, knock the Packers out of the playoff contention, man, that would make their whole season, whether they made the playoffs or not. I think that would be a great, great win for the team.
Yeah, it's not going to be easy whatsoever. You look at the Green Bay Packers, they're another very good, well-coached young team. And when I look at this matchup, I see the Packers and the Bears, and I think these are going to be the two teams running the NFC North for the next 5 to 10 years.
Yeah, I mean, you also got to put Detroit in there too. Detroit's solid. Minnesota is whatever right now. I think they're kind of going downhill. But NFC North is going to be one of those divisions in the next coming years that's going to be like, okay, they're going to be duking it out. And I can see them getting possibly 3 teams in the playoff. If possible.
Yeah, the NFC North is the only division in the NFC that doesn't have a team below 7 wins. If you look at the different divisions, they have like a 2-win team, a 4-win team, a 5-win team. But when you look at the NFC North, it's the Lions at 11-5, and you have the Packers at 8-8, and then the Vikings and Bears are at 7-9. So it's been pretty competitive. And once again, if you take those 3 games that the Chicago Bears blew fourth quarter leads, they're right in the mix of the NFC North.
Man, I know we talk about it every week. Those 3 games hurt, obviously, but it just shows you how good the Bears actually could be. And for them to go in that division, and as you can make the argument, the NFC North is probably the toughest division in the NFC. Possibly NFL, you can have that argument, but for them to compete every single week and then beat the best team once and should have beat them twice in the division, that tells you a lot about where the Bears are right now.
Right, Isaiah. We all know what happened in Week 1. Jordan Love and the Green Bay Packers. We had high hopes, and the Green Bay Packers came and gave the Chicago Bears an ass whooping, 38-20. How much of a different of a matchup is this going to be in Week 18 between the Bears and Packers?
Oh, it's a totally different team. At the time, the Bears defense just wasn't where they are now. Justin Fields wasn't doing what he was doing at the time. So, for him to, kind of be able to go out there and kind of redeem himself from week one, it's going to be big for him. So I'm curious to see how he's going to go out there and play in Lambeau. But I expect him to go out and have one of those Justin Fields games that you and I know he can have.
Right. The big thing about Green Bay is, the one guy that really, really killed the Chicago Bears in week one is Aaron Jones. What should Matt Eberflus and the Chicago Bears plan to be the slow guy down like Aaron Jones?
Honestly, I'm big on defenses dictating what the offenses do, what is the offense is going to do. So I want them to continue what they've been doing. I think what that formula that Matt Eberflus has instilled in them and they've been doing for the last 10 weeks is working. I think they keep doing what they're doing because, as we know, week one, Eberflus wasn't calling the plays. It was Allen Williams. So, it's going to be a completely different ball game. So I expect him to go out and just have those guys flying around making plays.
Something that we didn't see in week one against the Green Bay Packers is, letting Jordan Love beat you. I still believe that even Jordan Love had 3 touchdown passes in that week one win over the Chicago Bears. It was due to the fact that they were able to run the ball really well on the Chicago Bears defense. Now, 17 weeks later, the Chicago Bears defense is one of the best units in the National Football League. I do expect it to be a very different matchup, and I do expect Matt Eberflus to make Jordan Love beat the Chicago Bears if the Green Bay Packers have ambitions to beat us this Sunday.
Definitely. I mean, and, the Packers are coming in, they're limping a little bit. I'm not sure what Christian Watson's status is. He was healthy in week one. And, Romeo Dobbs has been doing well. Shout out to Nevada. I always got to give my guy a shout out from the Wolfpack. But, for the most part, they're coming in limping. So this is a good opportunity for the Bears to go knock them off.
Right. And it would just be a good feeling because, the Packers have 9 straight wins over the Chicago Bears. And I think this would make up for all those wins at that little drought that they have against the Green Bay Packers. To be able to knock the Packers out of the playoffs and make them sit on the couch and beside you and watch the playoffs would be a good feeling, not only for the Chicago Bears organization going into next year, momentum, but for Bears fans as well.
But you think about how many times they've done that to us, man. So it's like, it's well overdue.
Yeah, for sure. And that's the big thing is that I think it's like that hill that they just have to get over, right? Every time it's Packers week, I think, some moments we go in there defeated. Like the Green Bay Packers own the Chicago Bears. That this cliche thing right now surrounding the matchup. It's not really a rivalry at the moment. Even Aaron Rodgers came out and said, is it really a rivalry? They haven't really beaten the Green Bay Packers, which he's absolutely right. I'm not sure why he's even talking. He's with the New York Jets now, but he's absolutely right. So I think this is a hill that they have to get over. And I think this is the best chance for them to do that.
Yeah, I'm going to tune into the game, man. That's going to be one of my favorite games to watch. I'm not sure. They flexed it to prime time? I'm not sure.
No, it's a 3:25, but we do got Tony Romo calling the game, so that's important. That's
important. That's very important, actually. So that means it's a big game. So, yeah, I'm excited for it.
So, Isaiah, what are your 3 keys to a Chicago Bears win over the Green Bay Packers on Sunday?
Obviously, number one, Justin Fields has to dominate the game in both facets of the game, running and passing. Being able to control the flow, making sure that he's getting first downs, keeping the ball in the offense's hands, and at the end of the day, got to get points on the board. 2, defenses continue to play the way they've been playing. You mentioned Aaron Jones earlier. He's going to be a huge key to stop. But like I said before, I expect them to fully just continue to do what they've been doing, and that should solve the problem itself. Those boys are flying around, man. So if they can go out there and make plays, they'll be perfectly fine. And then 3, the biggest part of this game, and I think this has always been probably the biggest aspect of the Packers-Bears game, is you got to win you got to win the turnover battle. That's mandatory in this game. And if you do that, you put yourself in a very good position to win the ball game.
Yeah, it's definitely not going to be easy. I think it's going to be a hard-fought game, but I think it will come down to Jordan Love versus Justin Fields, who plays turnover-free football, who makes more plays for their team. And I think Justin Fields will be able to do that for the Chicago Bears. I know Jordan Love has been playing really, really good football. He's have good coaches over there in Matt LaFleur, right? I feel like the Green Bay Packers defense has been kind of, scooting along, especially in the secondary. Jai Alexander has been kind of on and off the field, have dealt with some injuries on the defense side of the football. I know Green Bay Packers fans are kind of complaining about their defensive coordinator and Joe Barry, especially after they gave up 30 points to the Carolina Panthers. So I think there's definitely some things that Luke Getsy and Justin Fields and the Chicago Bears offense can expose in this game. So I'm looking for fireworks, but my question for you, Isaiah, is what else do we need to see from quarterback Justin Fields? What kind of statement does he need to put against the Green Bay Packers?
Honestly, I think it's as simple as this. He needs to go in the Lambeau and just win.
Yeah.
And I think it's just as simple as it gets, man. I think if he goes in there and, he's going to have his good plays, he's going to have his bad plays. But if he goes in there, man, and finds a way to get the Bears a win, if it's coming down to the last possession or whatnot, that'd be very big for him and his tenure here in Chicago.
Yeah, for sure. So it's going to be a big game for the Chicago Bears. Obviously, huge implications for the Green Bay Packers. They win and they're in the NFL playoffs. If the Bears beat the Packers, they are out of the playoffs. So that would be huge for the city of Chicago and the Chicago Bears organization. So go ahead and give me your score prediction. Who's winning this game, Isaiah?
Man, I'm going with Chicago. I think those dudes are flying, man. I love the way Justin played last week. I'm going Chicago, man. I think it's going to be a 27-21 game.
Okay, I like that score. I also have the Chicago Bears beating the Green Bay Packers for the first time in 9 tries. I'm going to give them 23-20. I think it's going to be a close game. I think it's going to come down to a Justin Fields game-winning drive. I think he's going to put an exclamation point on why he should be the franchise quarterback moving forward for the Chicago Bears. What a perfect way of knocking the Green Bay Packers out of the playoffs as well.
Definitely. Most definitely.
So obviously, Isaiah, they also, it was a big-time win against the Atlanta Falcons, but they also secured the number 1 overall pick thanks to the Carolina Panthers. So for the second straight year, Ryan Poles has the keys to the NFL draft. Give me your opinions on that.
Good for him. He played this perfectly. You couldn't ask for any better situation. That's a win for him on his resume. I think anytime a team can secure, the number 1 pick in both years and not have to have a very, very bad season to do it, you're doing your job as a GM. So shout out to Ryan Poles, man. He's doing a great job, constructing a team and getting the assets enough to continue to build onto it.
Right, for sure. And it's just impressive. I think what he's done with the Chicago Bears organization, he has them moving in the right direction. He just has that big question mark. What are you going to do at the quarterback position? I think 80% of the fan base is sticking with Justin Fields and trading back with that number 1 overall pick and still, being able to get a guy like Marvin Harrison Jr. So speaking of the number 1 overall pick, before I let you go on today's episode of Kick on the Mic, you are going to be Ryan Poles today on this podcast. And I'm going to give you 5 trade scenarios for the number 1 overall pick. All I want you to do is accept or decline and give me your reasons why.
Got it.
So here we go. The first one's going to be from the Atlanta Falcons. We got the 9th overall pick, the 41st overall pick in the second round, a 2025 first round pick and a second round pick, and a 2026 first round pick.
I'm declining.
You're declining. Okay. Why is that?
Because I want Marvin Harrison Jr. He's not going to make it that far to 9.
So even though you can get 3 first round picks and the possibility to get a guy from Washington or Malik Neighbors, the guy from LSU, you can still get a game-changing wide receiver. That you still set on Marvin Harrison. I'm
set on Marvin Harrison. I think this team is ready to go next year.
Okay.
I get assets for later on in the years, man, but tomorrow ain't promised. I mean, as simple as it gets. So I'm getting a guy. I'm getting a guy that can come help me win next year.
Okay, I like that. So Isaiah's going to decline the Atlanta Falcons trade. Trade number 2 is from the Las Vegas Raiders. I think you know where I'm going with this. We talked about this trade scenario before. The 11th overall pick, a 43rd overall in the second round, a 2025 first round pick, a 2026 second round pick, and you can imagine what I'm about to say. Edge rusher Max Crosby.
I'm accepting that.
You're going to accept it. You said that's the only way you're fine with skipping out on Marvin Harrison Jr.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, you can get a guy to come in and help you win next year. Max Crosby is that guy. You don't pass up on that. He's an elite rusher. You get him and sweat on. Oh man, that's scary. That is.
Yeah, especially the way that this Bears defense is playing. Just imagine how good they're going to be out the gates next season.
Right, 100%. Yeah, I would accept that one. Yeah, definitely.
Okay, so Isaiah's going to accept the Las Vegas trade. So the third one's from the New York Giants, the 5th overall pick. 2 second round picks in this year's NFL draft and a 2025 first round pick.
I would accept that.
Okay. Because you still have an opportunity, because you never know what's going to happen. You can still drop to 5 and maybe, just maybe, you can still get Marvin Harrison Jr.
Yeah, as much as I like Marvin Harrison Jr., like you said, Neighbors is available. I would accept that just because there's a possibility that he could drop to 5. I doubt it, but he could. But then you get that first round pick that next year. That's big. So I would accept that one.
Okay, and you could even consider like maybe altering this trade and say, okay, Giants, maybe we don't want the 2025 first round pick, but give us a guy like Dexter Lawrence, for example, right?
Right.
And if you really want to trade up that bad, and they probably still have to give us a next year's first as well, even though we're moving down 4 spots. I think that number 1 overall pick is going to be super, super valuable.
Yeah, 100%.
So the 4th trade offer for the Chicago Bears number 1 overall pick is from the New England Patriots. The 3rd overall pick, the 35th overall pick in the 2nd round, and a 2025 first round pick. Obviously not as much because they're only trading up 2 spots, but you still get Marvin Harrison Jr.
Yeah, I'll accept that one, 100%.
Just simple. You get an extra second. You're recouping that second from the Montez Sweat trade. You get a next year's first, and you get a player that's going to help you right now, Marvin Harrison.
Yep, I'm taking that.
Okay, so Isaiah's going to accept the New England Patriots offer. And then the 5th and final trade is from the Washington Commanders. They'll give us a 2nd overall pick, the 34th overall pick, and the 42nd overall pick. So you're not getting a first next year, but you're getting their first overall pick this year and 2 second rounders.
Take it.
Yeah.
Take it. You get Marvin. You'll definitely get Marvin Harrison Jr. Take it, 100%.
And then you look at the 34th and 42nd overall pick. The 34th overall pick is basically a first round pick. That's a pretty high 2nd round pick. So you're going to get another game-changing player at those 2 second rounds. Or if there's a player at the end of the first round, you could, ball those 2 picks up and trade back into the first round.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah, that's actually a really good trade. I would take that one in a heartbeat. Okay,
I like that. So what is your favorite trade out of the 5?
My favorite is the Max Crosby trade, just because we know who Max Crosby is. If I didn't have to pick that one, I would pick the last one with the Commanders. I like that one a lot just because you double up on the 2nd round. And like you said, 34 is essentially a first round pick. So if they're able to pull that one off, man, that'd be a good trade.
Yeah, and I think Ryan Poles, I think he knows what he needs to do. Obviously, he's not tied down to Justin Fields, but I think there's a lot of fans, and you could start seeing the narrative starting to shift towards, keep Justin Fields and trade down with that number 1 overall pick, still get a chance to draft Marvin Harrison Jr., and this team's a playoff team as soon as next season.
Yeah, definitely, man. I think they, like we said, we've been saying this. Those 3 games, they're a playoff team. And quite honestly, if they were to make the playoffs this year, they're a team that nobody wanted to see in the playoffs this year.
Right. They
would have been scared. They would have been scared to play the Chicago Bears. So if you look at what they have now and what they can add on next year, man, it's going in the right direction. It's trending upward.
Yeah, good times for the Chicago Bears. Good time to be a Chicago Bears fan. Once again, Isaiah, thank you so much for a great season right here on Kick on the Mic. I appreciate you. I know the fans appreciate you. I know you came on a couple of live streams as well. But you are a friend to the show, a friend to me. But I definitely appreciate you coming on every single week and talking Bears football with me.
Oh, most definitely. I love coming up here. I look forward to this day every week, and I just appreciate everybody tuning in every week, man. It's been definitely a blast and a blessing. And man, I look forward to keep doing this, man. I like we started at the bottom when they were, not very good last year, and they got better this year, man. So next year we're going to the playoffs, and then hey, go to the Super Bowl, man. We're gonna be right there with our credentials, man. So I appreciate everybody tuning in, and I look forward to what's more in store.
Yeah, once again, appreciate you, Isaiah. Thank you so much for coming on. But as always, to you, bear down.
Bear down.
Bears fans, I'm very excited to share this amazing book series with you, the Hawaiian State series, with the amazing goal to get kids to read a little bit more. With this series, you have 3 amazing books to read: Hawaiian State, Hawaiian Legacy, and Hawaiian Legend. This amazing series is a historical fiction based on the premise Hawaii remains independent but allies with America. And Bears fans, with the upcoming days off, it would be a perfect timing to keep the kids occupied and off their phones by reading a really good book. These books are truly amazing. Not only can they be enjoyed by all ages, but if teachers or parents buy a class set as a donation, they can actually contact the author of this book for free lessons. Bears fans, this is a great opportunity to buy a really good book series and to support a really good goal. And hey, after you're done reading this great series, go ahead and donate it to a local school or library to make sure everyone is able to get the opportunity to read this amazing series. The links for all 3 of these books will be in the description of this video. Trust me, Bears fans, you will not be disappointed. And as always to you guys, bear down.
You've been listening to Keek on the Mic, a podcast all about the Chicago Bears. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit the bell notification to catch all Bears content right here on the podcast. Thanks, guys, and bear down.